I recently had a conversation with someone and they had shared their story that they had done all the right things. They went to a prestigious university. They did what was expected of them. They went on the safe path, but yet and still they felt very misaligned. So that really got me thinking, is it possible to go and do the right things, still be misaligned? Welcome to Luxury State of Mind. My name is Damian Shodi, and on this podcast platform, my goal is to encourage you to live your version of luxury every single day so that you are able to live a life that is aligned with your identity and your values. So, welcome back to Luxury State of Mind if you've been listening, and then if you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. So, this conversation had me thinking of a conversation that I've had multiple times with people in just my own life, really. This person did similar to me the path that was expected, which in her case, my case was medicine. So if you come from, let's say, an immigrant home, or you were smart or expected to be smart or wanted to prove yourself, sometimes a lot of us, if you know you, we went the medical route. I want to be a doctor, I want to be a pediatrician, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to be in surgery, right? And that was my story. Like many people, maybe, but I would think so. Like many people, especially again, if you come from that immigrant background, and maybe your family or your people group are very well, do well in school, they go through a very specific path. You may think that you have to go through that path. So that was me going through the medical school journey, which I've talked about for as long as Luxury State of Mind has happened. So for almost 20 years, I went down the path of I'm going to be a physician. I'm going to be a doctor. I did all the right things. I made sure to do my best in school from the time I was in kindergarten, but a lot of times I really struggled with the maths and sciences. And because of that, I felt like I had to constantly prove myself, to prove to other people. I had this narrative in my mind that was literally running my mind that if I'm not good at these, then I clearly am not smart. So I put a lot of effort into making sure I was the best that I could be at those subjects. But yet I was really suffering inside because I ignored the different talents, skills, what came easy to me because it wasn't enough evidence. That evidence that I was smart. So that journey led me to, again, going through middle school, high school. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a doctor. Going through college. I'm going to be a doctor. Struggling significantly through college, pushing myself to all ends, pushing myself to the point that I actually got 2 degrees in school because I wanted to make sure I was ready to go for medical school. Took the MCAT, failed, and then decided I'm going to get a master's program to help prove again that I am smart. And you're thinking, girl, get off the train. Get off the train. But no, we were still on that train. And I did all these things. I went through a master's program in hopes that it would prove my worth. And it wasn't just any master's program, it was a high technical science master's program because I wanted to prove to the medical board of whatever school I was applying to that I was worthy enough. So I did all those things and still at the end realized it wasn't for me. So imagine you spending 20 years or so going down this path and realizing it's not for you. And similar to the woman that I was speaking with, same type of thing happened. She went through school, struggled her way, and then eventually realized it's not for her and pivoted within the medical field. But then what happens when you go down a path at first that looks the part, it looks organized, it looks well, it looks like this is what I should be doing, but it doesn't pan out the way that you expected? Or you got the degree, you got the education, you got the experience in what was supposed to be this your success story, but yet and still you feel unfulfilled. And not only do you feel unfulfilled, it feels scarier to just pivot into something new and try. And what are a couple of reasons that that can be scary? One of them being you have already invested so much time into what you're doing, or what you've done, the thought of not bringing that along into the next level is just like, it rocks your brain. I don't know about you, but for me, I said, I need to use my education. I need to use what I had learned. I need to get a job in that field. I need to use this master's degree. I need to make sure this money did not go to waste. But for some reason, I couldn't piece the two together. So that's one. You feel like I have to use this past experience. Another thing that happens when you go down a path that may not be for you, you feel that you can't let go of what was, even though you've invested the time and even though it's not working, you can't release it. You can't let it go to pivot to something else. Because if you do that, that means that clearly I'm not smart or clearly I'm not equipped. And if I have to pivot again, it feels like I'm starting over. You've already invested all that time already, but now the feeling of starting over again or perceived starting over feels daunting. It feels scary. Another thing that comes up when you are going down a path that is misaligned for you, that you've put a lot of time, a lot of energy and focus into. And I think this is the most, or one of the most detrimental things, is you lose your ability to try. The idea of trying something new, even where you are, seems scary. It's almost like an all or nothing type of thing. I'm going to do this or nothing at all. I'm going to go here or it can't be anything. I don't know if you can relate to that, but I'm sure you can. That all or nothing thinking. When I decided, and or actually after I graduated from my master's program, there were opportunities that did come to me, but I was so focused and just, for one, I was like, I'm not ignoring myself. Again, I need to make sure I focus on what works for me. So I could not see opportunities that were around me. I had actually gotten offers to do internships and different programs, but because of the shame of, we'll see how much work I've put into this already. And now I feel like I have to start over again. My peers are already in their careers. I can't, I don't want to look like I'm beginning again, or I'm afraid. What will that mean? I don't even know what that field is. Why would I go into it? I did not even consider other opportunities. So as I was speaking to this young woman, I could hear her frustration and her desire. Really, the desire is to explore new opportunities. Really, the desire is to align her life from her career to her passions in a way that allows her to express herself fully. Because another thing that may happen, and this was also true for me, was feeling that I'm so talented, I'm so smart, but yet I am in careers, I am in spaces that are less than my potential. I feel like my potential is not being actualized because I'm in the wrong spaces, but at least these spaces are safe. But I want to encourage you today that there is a way out. And I've actually been speaking a lot about this on Luxury State of Mind, Instagram, TikTok. So if you are on those different platforms, you can definitely see some of the messages there. But something that has really been on my mind and my heart in this time period is the ability to try. And what I mean by trying is looking at different possibilities of what could be and taking a step forward. I have found with high achieving women that we can just stand still because we're afraid of the failure. That if we try, like if it's not a guaranteed success, because going down a certain path, especially in your career or whatever it is that you plan to do, there's a certain path that you're on. But now, when you've left that path and you will have to figure out what's next for you, it can be very scary to see the options around you or to even have a mind of seeing those options because the fear of failure. What if I try that and it doesn't work? What do I even know about myself? What are the things that excite me? I don't know because I'm too afraid to try. But today is the day that you will not be afraid to try anymore, because trying allows you the opportunity to see. I have said so many times that you cannot think your way to clarity. So if you think that you can think your way, because this was an issue that I had, especially in what I deemed the dark ages, when I was just completely lost. I didn't know, after my master's program, after saying no to medicine, I didn't know what I was doing anymore. I mean, I was doing things, I was trying, and I was putting stuff together, but I didn't know what I was doing. But I can look back now and see I was setting the groundwork, the footsteps for what I'm doing today. But at the time, it feels like, I don't know. But having the opportunity to try allows you to get clarity. The clarity that you're so desperately looking for doesn't need to come in your mind, like through your thoughts or through osmosis or by reading the word or by praying alone. Do those things, but those things will not give you fully the clarity of your next steps all the time. You have to put your hand to work. If there is something that you've been wanting to do, you've had interest and you've been thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it for so long, today is the day that you will not think about it anymore, but you will try. I remember Miles Monroe said something, I may not quote it perfectly, but at there are times where what you're called to do, if you don't do it, it will feel like a curse. It's those things that you keep thinking about, wanting to do, it crosses your mind, and you constantly keep thinking about it, and it almost frustrates you. It almost gets you angry. But I tell you, that quote freed me to start opening the possibility of what could be. So the fear of failure is one thing, but but if you don't even give yourself the opportunity to see what could be, then you've already lost. When I was speaking with this young woman, she had different options available to her, but she didn't even realize that she had those options available. An option could be you stay in the job that maybe not working for you right now, but there are opportunities around you that you can try your hands at certain gifts or talents. Or if you have a desire that you want to pursue, is there like a role or something that you can also pursue at the same time? Or third option, and this was in her case, enjoys communications like I know that you probably do, communicating with people, teaching, bringing people along the journey, using your experiences to teach other people, using that as fuel to bring them along. You can do that while you work. And sometimes these possibilities don't even catch or we don't even think about them because we are thinking everything is like this. One of the lessons that I feel I have learned and continue to keep learning is life is not linear. And we hear it all the time, but sometimes it just doesn't stick. That life is not just a straight path. Life is twists and turns. It is you do this here, you do this there. You never know what fruit will produce or what will sprout up. I know there's a scripture about that as well, that you sow a seed here, you sow a seed there, and you never know which one will reap that harvest. But if you don't sow seeds at all. If you don't sow seeds in faith, if you don't put your hand to the plow, if you don't try, you will never know. And then last thing, giving yourself the opportunity to explore. You have cramped yourself so much into a certain ideal, a certain way of living for so long, you don't even know what it means to just have fun again, what it means to try, what it means to experiment, to get creative. This can look like in your career, if that's something that you want to do, you want to advance in your career. It could look like personal projects for you. It can look like your business idea. But the freedom to be creative and to play is something that we miss because we want to be perceived as stable or we have it put together, but in reality, we're misaligned. So I just want to encourage you that you don't have to stay there. There is hope on the other side. of this feeling of, well, I may have looked the part, or I'm there's more potential in me, but I've not actualized it out of fear. There is more hope on the other side. A lot of it has to do with mindset shifts, but a lot of it is just being open to experiment and try. So experiment and try today. I want you to post in the comments of this video, what is one thing that you've been wanting to do? And what is one way you will start working on it today? Whether that's a fitness journey, whether that's your career, whether that's your speaking opportunities, or you want to create content just like this, or you want to just help people. What are some of the opportunities that are around you that you can implement today? So you can put that in the comments, because one of the things that I had prayed about when I knew I was struggling, I knew that I had a seeing problem. I had a seeing problem, not my physical eyes, but my ability to see opportunities. I just couldn't. If it didn't look a certain way, it wasn't for me. And I think that stemmed from my desire to look like I know what's going on. I grew up in a way where you couldn't say, I don't know. I don't know. Like, what? I don't know. You should have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But I feel the most humblest way of living is admitting I don't know. And funny enough, that was actually one of the things that brought me to this space. I remember that I had prayed at one point, like, to be like a child. I said, I don't know, like, whatever I think I know about God, or whatever I think I know about what is, like, Lord, just change it. Like, just whatever I think I know in this moment, just like a child, make me new again. So you may think you know, and maybe by the results you are experiencing, you realize that maybe I don't know. And I need that opportunity to just be playful and try again. So if this was encouraging for you, make sure you subscribe to the Luxury State of Mind channel. Make sure you click the like button and leave that comment. I want to know what is one thing that you are going to be doing that will help you try in this season of your transformation. And if you are enjoying conversations like this, make sure to join the Luxury State of Mind, what I say, membership newsletter, where you can find out about events that we have live and in person. So we can carry on these conversations with other high achieving women who are successful, that are doing great things, that are advancing in their careers, that are advancing in their spaces of where they have reign over, leaders, all of those type of women, but we all just want to grow and become better. So you're definitely invited to those things. And if you are in Nigeria right now, we are having conversations over dinner, or conversations over brunch on Saturday. So I would love to see you there. The link will be in the description. And if you want to continue these conversations, then be with women where you can be in a space where you're not playing small, right? That other women just like you are aligning their life and their values with what they define as luxury. And we're encouraging each other to move forward and not play small so we can live a more fulfilling life. Then make sure to be one of the founding members of the Luxury State of Mind community, the membership. I'll have that link in the description. It's going to be our paid membership, where you'll have the opportunity to connect with women worldwide. That will allow you again to make those steps, be in a safe space where you can try. All right. I would love to see you on the next one. Love to see you on Conversations Over Brunch in Lagos. And then another event is coming out. So I'm going to let you know about that soon. You're going to love it. It has a theme. So stay tuned for that. And if you're on my email list, you already know what's up. All right. Speak to you later. Bye.